I did my video on schizophrenia. The question is, what is schizophrenia? Schizophrenia is a mental disorder characterized by auditory hallucinations, strange or paranoid delusions, and disorganized thinking and speech. There are several forms of schizophrenia, catatonic, paranoid, and disorganized being the three main ones, with residual and undifferentiated just being different options of those. Catatonic is the first one that we'll look at. It's characterized by a stopping of movement completely, basically. They pretty much just turn into a big human doll, as you can see by the pictures. They're all pretty much just stuck in that position, not moving. The man in the bottom right was positioned like that by a psychologist to demonstrate catatonic schizophrenia and how malleable they can be. Disorganized is another form of schizophrenia. It's more to do with the mental and thought processes. Hallucinations and delusions are less pronounced, but you'll start to see things like a word salad, which is where they try to say a sentence and they'll just get all jumbled up in their words, or maybe they'll combine things from three different sentences and just speak a bunch of mumbo jumbo that doesn't make any sense at all. It's not even close to a coherent thought. Paranoid is what most people think of when they think of schizophrenia. It's characterized by auditory hallucinations and delusional thoughts. They're usually pretty sure that someone is out to get them, usually the government. Someone's out there trying to put wires in their brains or putting tiny cameras in their bathroom or room or something, just some crazy stuff like that. Sets in later in life than other forms. Undifferentiated is when there's really not enough specifics to allow for further classification. It's pretty much just a big stew out of three. Residual is when it starts going away pretty much when the illness has run its course. The hallucinations may still occur, but their manifestations are weaker. How weaker they are is determined by how young were you when you got schizophrenia. The younger you are when you get schizophrenia, the harder it is to basically get rid of it, the longer it takes for it to run its course, and the worse it is. Sometimes it'll never go away or just get worse. What causes schizophrenia? Genetics play a big role. If you have like an uncle or an aunt, or if anyone in your direct family has schizophrenia, you're twice as likely to develop it. Your chances of getting schizophrenia in general are only 1%, so you're only talking about a 1% increase in chances of getting it. So it's not as bad as it sounds, but it is an increase. Environment has a big to do with it as well. Social isolation and poor living conditions can bring on the onset of schizophrenia, more so than if there was a clean environment with social interactions. Marijuana can play a big role in developing schizophrenia. 8 to 13% of people diagnosed with schizophrenia would have never developed the illness had they not smoked marijuana. When does schizophrenia appear? Schizophrenia rarely appears until young adulthood, usually between 18 to 25, and if it does appear before that, it's usually a pretty bad case of schizophrenia. Like it's more crippling than if it had appeared in young adulthood. The young schizophrenics are usually the worst. You could have schizophrenia and not even know it yet. How do you treat schizophrenia? There's no absolute cure for schizophrenia, although medication can help with the delusions and the hallucinations. There aren't too many famous people with schizophrenia, to be honest. And if they are famous, it's probably because they kill people. If you can look in the top right, is one of the more famous crazy schizophrenics. He had a whole mess of stuff: bipolar, schizophrenia, just pretty much everything under the sun. The bottom right is Sid Barrett. He was the lead singer of Pink Floyd until he went pretty much batshit insane. Guy in the middle tried to kill Reagan, and the guy in the left was in the Beach Boys. The woman in the top left was actually the First Lady. She was Abraham Lincoln's wife, and she had schizophrenia. Any questions?